way we're stopping for bathroom breaks.
I mean, we've got 2 hours, so
Yeah. Anyone who can't hold pee for 2 hours shouldn't be able to drink alcohol.
I mean,
If you could just tell all the performers to make sure to hold on while they're standing, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
They'll be up here in front.
They need to hold on because you never know what happens with other cars and whatnot. So
Hold on to these.
hold on.
Okay.
And we're off. Guys, welcome to We Still Like You. Game on Wheels. We're doing it. Oh, what a time to be alive. This is already so weird. Oh, man. All right.
You guys are just trapped here with us in this tube moving through the city. That's
right.
Beep, beep, here we are. I'm kidding. That's not how we're going to start this. That would be dumb.
We're gonna take a ride on Clark Street. Clark Street is named after the brother of Lewis and Clark, actually. I don't know if you knew that. Speaking of brothers, my brother one time, hey!
That was a little taste of Matt Riggs. He sounded a little distracted to you. That was because Matt was currently at the time driving a trolley.
I almost killed these people to our left. Decided to walk in front of me. That's not funny because, all right, never mind. I'm not allowed to talk about it. Anyway, so,
We did a show on a trolley in December of 2015.
It was beautiful.
This is the weirdest shit. Can I thank you guys for giving me the gift of feeling my career literally go backwards? Like, this is so...
It was a lot of fun. The Christmas season was in full swing in Chicago. Some beautiful snow was in the air, lights all over the city.
People making out on the street.
There were so many people making out on the street.
I drank a 6-pack of beer out of a stein with a fox on it.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we packed about 30 or so people into a trolley. We took them around Chicago, and Matt Riggs, a great local comic in Chicago, was not only telling a story but driving us. He was shepherding us around the city, giving his story as a part of his tour. And so that's what you were just hearing right now. And the rest of this episode is going to be samples from that trolley show. So they don't adhere to any theme other than the fact that they were told on the same moving vehicle going through Chicago.
By the way, I have a question for Matt Riggs.
Fire away.
Matt Riggs, at any point during this trip, why didn't we just pull over to a CTA bus stop and take some people on? Fucking 76 is canceled. This is... Can we do it now? Hey guys, where you guys going? Wait up! No, open the doors! Come on up, come on.
My name's Dan Sheehan, and this is...
Danii Gallegos.
And you're listening to We Still
We
Like
Still
You,
Like You.
the trolley show.
Down, down, down. Pew.
There we go. Matt, before we get started and people start walking through the aisles, do you want to make any safety announcements?
Hello, everybody. Just a couple things. If you do need to move around, please hold on because sometimes I have to do this. Everybody's all right? All right, very good. And if you have beer and you see someone on the street and you look like, oh, that person looks thirsty, don't give it to them.
You might have seen him when he was producing Dropout Comedy for 3 shows? How many? You might have also seen him driving the fucking trolley. Give it up for Roadmaster Street Legal Matt Riggs.
Hey guys, welcome. We're in the heart of River North right now. And one time in the heart of my brother's bedroom, I decided as a child to take a poop into a formerly used deodorant container. And then I used that to draw on the wall with
All right, guys, you ready to get this thing started?
I say we get this thing started.
Your first full story comes to you from a co-producer, co-creator of the show. She's standing right next to me.
That's me.
And she smells pretty good. Guys, it's Danii Gallegos.
The night that I turned 21 years old, a friend of mine asked me to give a toast, and I raised my glass, and I said, here's to having been drinking for half my life already. May I have 11 more years in me. I absolutely started drinking when I was 11. It was with my mother's peppermint schnapps that she had in the fridge. It was me and my two friends, and between three of us 11-year-olds, we drank half that bottle. It was February, and there was a frozen lake near my house. And I said, hey guys, let's go walk across that frozen lake. Nothing happened, but it did set a precedence for like how I would be drinking in my teens. So I used to do merch for bands, but then I was also a nerd, so I also did merch for bands that sang about Harry Potter. And one night after a show, this like guy who I was like in love with, who was the lead singer of a Harry Potter band from LA, he was, I know. Hey, thanks. He was in New York from LA, and a few of my other friends were in town, and we decided to get drunk in Union Square, which is a public park. So we finished maybe 3 bottles of like rum between 4 of us, which is too much. And then everybody's like, okay, well, I have to go. I'm 16, and everybody else was a lot older than me. And I was like, yeah, I can definitely do this. Can't do this. My one friend took me into the Starbucks to go puke. And to give you an example of the type of people I was hanging out with at the time, she goes, aren't you bulimic? And in between dry heaves, I go, no, I'm anorexic. And she goes, well, if you throw up, it'll only take it'll take away half the calories. And I was like, oh, cool. And so after that, she just set me free on my own on the streets of New York to try and get back home to New Jersey. I made it to the bus station, and I made it on the right bus. And then on the bus, I threw up in a Ziploc bag of Amish cookies. And then I passed out. I ended up in Passaic, New Jersey, which, if you know anything about New Jersey, is not a place for a 16-year-old to end up at like 2 in the morning. And in a panic, I hit the emergency stop button, and I just got off the bus and into a crime scene. The police had their guns, the criminals had their guns, and I was just prancing through the middle of it. And a police officer pulls me aside, and he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm walking home. And so he pulls me aside, and I didn't like police officers at the time. I still kind of don't. And I just start giving them a huge attitude, which, like, they're trying to help me. And, like, I'm just being a huge shithead. And so finally, when they're done with the real crime, they turn to me, and they're like, have you been drinking? And I was like, no, I'm sick. I just took cough medicine. He, like, grabbed my arm, and I thought I was being restrained. So my instinct was to spit in his face. But similar to Rose from Titanic, I didn't know how to spit. So what I did was this. Right in a police officer's face. And then he was like, okay, you're coming with us. And I was like, oh, whatever, I'm being oppressed. They handcuffed me and put me in the back of the car, and they took me to the police station where they took my ID, and they looked at it, and they were like, wait, Danii Gallegos. And I was like, yeah, what? And they were like, is your father Dr. My father works with police officers as the psychologist who does their psychological evaluations and is very well respected. They stopped doing all the paperwork, they put everything away, and they called my dad, my 63-year-old father, at 3 in the morning, the night before Thanksgiving, and they call him over to the police department. And in the probably the most shameful moment of my life, my father went, has she been drinking? And the police officer just went, have her blown in your face. And so I had to, and I had obviously been drinking, and that moment to this day still haunts me. For some reason, I didn't get grounded. He just made me explain what I did over the phone to my sister the next day. And then in the most opportunistic cool dad move, he used my hangover to get us out of Thanksgiving dinner with my stepfamily.
We still like you! Danii Gallegos, one more time!
That was me talking about what a monster I was as a teenager. Oh shit, they found us!
You've always been a bit of a rambunctious teen at heart.
Thank you.
I was more of a rule follower when I was young.
I used to skip classes purposely so that I would go to summer school because summer school was so much easier and so much shorter than regular school. And the grade in summer school completely overrides your actual grade.
Dang, that is some next level rapscallion shit.
Yeah, so with math and gym, I would just be like, oh, well, fuck this. And I would skip and I would go into New York and I would have a grand old time. And then I would go to summer school and get actual A pluses. And then that would completely override my F, and it brought up my grade point average. And then I got into every college that I applied to.
Coming up next, we've got a story from hilarious Chicago comic David Phillips about being willing to do just about anything for love.
I don't know about you guys. If you grew up in any way religious, masturbation was a real shame. Between the 90, when did I start? What day? It was January the 5th. No, in the 90s, God and I just every night had a little conversation about how I shouldn't have masturbated that day. It was very weird. But the first time I ever masturbated, it was the best. It was the best ever. The distance, the range, the power behind the ejaculate, it was fantastic. But I was so freaked out that I cleaned it up with a pair of socks that were just laying on the floor near my dad's chair. And once I cleaned it up, I put them back. And then I remembered, oftentimes my dad just gets up from work and then he'll just put the socks on that are by his chair. So I don't know if I should completely feel shame for this, but there's a chance my dad wore the socks that I had my first ever ejaculate. 844 people died over here on our right-hand side in the Eastland disaster of 1915.
This next one had the whole trolley rolling in laughter.
I was literally bent over with tears in my eyes, just laughing so hard.
It's so fun. This next story is so fun. And I'm not even going to tell you anything else about it because you deserve to experience it just like we did, with little to no preamble and the excitement of a doe-eyed young child. So get in there and listen to David Phillips.
I love this guy. You're going to love him. Give it up for Dave Phillips! It's a great time to approach the stage.
I just stepped on somebody's foot on the way up here. Are you all right, sir? Yeah, we're good. Nice. Excellent. It was just about this time last year when I met a dominatrix at a bar called Cole's one time. And, you know, I'm hilarious and charismatic, and we're hitting it off. And we end up going back to my place, and we wake up the next day. We did the typical drunk fooling around. We wake up the next day, and we're kind of doing the morning fooling around thing. And this experience is heightened by the fact that not only does she play rough, but also our super for the building that I live in, he's in there cleaning the heater on the inside of the room. And this guy sounds like Bluto from Popeye, okay? So we're in my room, pitch black. And I hear this guy going, "Oh, we're going to need the shop vac to clean this thing out." And about the time he says that, she sticks a finger right up my butt. Right up it goes. Now, in terms of fetishes I never knew I had, this was right on the mark right there. So we leave as friends, pretty good, close personal friends. After that point, she sends me a text and says, "Hey, if you ever want to take this to the next level, just give me a call," right? And so then I text back like a true, Casanova that I am, like free of charge. And she's like, absolutely, because she's a professional dominatrix, so I don't want to undersell her services. We arranged to meet at the Ohio Street Hotel. I guess it's a motel right by the big McDonald's downtown. You guys know where that's at? Costs about $80 to go spend one night there. We arranged to meet there. And it's like, I'm nervous, right? We're gonna do some crazy shit at this hotel. Before, she just told me, all right, just make sure to shower, be clean, bring booze. That's all you need to do, right? And so I do that, and I'm still kind of like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm about there. Then I get a text. "Oh yeah, buy scissors." I don't know. And that's when the first thought enters my mind is like, am I walking into a murder right now? Is this what's... So I instantly Google S&M and scissors. It's like those things with like, that's like, is this weird thing on my face cancer? Everything tells you you're about to be murdered on Google. So I go into Walgreens, and I don't buy the sharpest pair of scissors, but I buy a pair that I think will, do the job that she needs to do safely. And we show up, or I show up anyway, and she asked me, she's very professional about it. She's very nice. She's very courteous. She's very like, okay, what are you into? What's out of line? What's in play here? And, I'm like, I would just not to bleed. That's kind of my biggest thing. She tells me to strip naked. And it's at the point that I'm hogtied naked on a hotel bed right next to a giant McDonald's that I start to realize what a hilarious situation this turned out to be. This is supposed to be a kinky sexual situation where I'm giving up power to a dominant woman, right? And I'm supposed to be giving away my power as a man. But I'm just trying to make jokes to make her break character the entire time. So I'm like, my little dick is just hanging out over here, and I'm back over here, and I'm like, well, you got a home kit I can take home and practice these knots with me? It'd be great. Oh, yeah, we also agreed on a safe word, which I honestly don't remember, but for the purposes of comedic effect, I'm just going to say it was Excelsior. That's what it was. Which, by the way, I only used one time, to my credit, and it was in a device called the Ball Smasher. So, so we do everything we agreed upon, which included ball smashings, ball clampings. Then we're going to ratchet it up. We're going to heighten it. We're going to take it to the next level again. And that's when she pulls the strap on out, right? And I feel like, okay, you know what? I had the finger up the butt one time. It felt all right. She's a professional. She knows what she's doing. Let's just give it an old college try, right? So I'm on the ground. I'm on the floor now. My pert buttocks hoisted up into the air. She's trying to jam her fake penis into my ass. And I guess as it turns out, I just kept hearing her grumbling to herself behind me like, God damn. I guess it turns out I have what's known as a reluctant anus. That's what it's... So I can't see what's going on because I'm still partially bound, and she's like, face that way, you pathetic piece of shit. She's being real mean because I asked her to, and And so I can hear her fiddling around in a toolbox full of fake penises back there. And she's switching it out for a smaller socket size. And I start to feel real embarrassed about it, you know? Now we're to the grand finale. We're to the main event here. That's when she gets a big smile on her face. And this is when I can see that this is what she's really come here for. She unveiled, you know, like those little like bags that drumsticks come in when you've heard a band? She had one of those filled with like stainless steel metal rods that got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, do you keep tune like off her instrument on these things? What do you do? He's like, no, what you do is you take these and you shove it down your urethra. All right, everybody grow up for a second. I'm talking. And then once this giant metal tube is shoved down your dick, I ting it. So that's more or less how I reacted as well. So honestly, that is eventually where I draw the line. I'm like, I would rather you stab my eyes out with those metal rods before I let you stick those things in my penis. I don't care how good it feels. I'm not letting you do it. So then I left, and I remember the look on her face. We'd been like, I've been up for everything until then, and then she got to the thing she wanted to do, and I said, no, we're not doing that. And just like the look on her face was such sadness. And I could tell it wasn't the dominatrix character. It was really her deep on the inside. Here she thought that she'd finally found the weird, soft, weak, white male whose penis she could abuse at her leisure. And here I was, just another guy, right? At the end of the story, I just want you guys to know that next time you guys are eating at the Rock and Roll McDonald's or maybe enjoying a tasty beef at Portillo's maybe, just know, I hope in my heart of hearts that anytime after 7 o'clock in the evening maybe, there's some guy who has a stainless steel rod shoved right down his penis. I can only hope so anyway, but thank you so much, guys.
We still like you! Holy shit. I gotta tell you, you know it's Christmas when you hear one of your best friends say, I have a reluctant anus,
So that was Fun Time Daddy David Phillips.
If you want to see more of David Phillips, he's a producer of Tuxedo Cat Comedy at the Intertown Pub on Sunday. Ting!
Oh, God.
Just the sound of it.
I'm not yucking anyone's yum, but oh boy.
So that was our trolley show. That was our boozy Shame on Wheels expedition.
It's so fun to figure out a way to drink while in a moving vehicle legally.
Because for some reason, Illinois is like, passengers of a car, no way, get that booze out of there. 30
Passengers
people,
of a trolley.
no seatbelts, a big room on wheels, go for it.
But we're going to take advantage of it by having more trolley shows.
Yeah, if you live in Chicago or, are looking to plan a visit to Chicago, we do one in the summer and one in the winter. So, keep your eyes peeled for that.
You can find out information about that on WeStillLikeYou.com or We Still Like You on Facebook.
Or at We Still Like You on Twitter.
Also, if you have a story of your own that you would like to pitch to us, send us a summary at WeStillLikeYou@gmail.com.
Real quick, I just want to mention, we sprung for a trolley with a wheelchair ramp, and I'm pretty pissed off none of you guys are in a wheelchair. So
no one could just fake it for the day, Tiny Tim it just a little bit.
We Still Like You is produced by Danii Gallegos, Dan Sheehan, Tyler Snodgrass, and J. Michael Osborne, who is also our resident live artist.
The podcast is produced by Jesse Patend, engineered by Jesse Patend and Sam Haas. Our theme song is Specific People by Jake Tobin. Big thanks to all the people who've housed our live shows at various undisclosed locations around Chicago, and to you, the listener, for being there.
If you'd like to know more about where you can watch We Still Like You or submit to be on We Still Like You, please check out our website, which is WeStillLikeYou.com, and also you can find us on Facebook.
We'll see you next month. 2 working mics for 2 saucy boys.